Welcome to CTV News Your Canada. It's Monday, August the 11th. We'll bring you profiles of fascinating Canadians and stories about your community. Thanks for watching.
Overcome with emotion, Victoria Mboko dropped to her knees after winning the National Bank Open final in Montreal last night.
What an incredible story.
The 18-year-old who grew up in Burlington is the latest Canadian tennis star climbing towards the top of the tennis world.
To have such an achievement at a tournament like this is really a milestone for me, and I'm just so happy that I was able to have this whole experience in Contrails. And overall, I think how many words they but I just feel so content and so happy.
Mboko rallied from a first set loss to defeat four-time Grand Slam winner Naomi Osaka of Japan.
She was patient out there. She really was selective in when she would go for it with a big shot, whether it was on her forehand or backhand or another big serve.
Mboko has jumped in the rankings right up to 24th in women's singles. Meanwhile, back in Toronto, Mboko's win caused a brief pause in the men's final when the crowd broke out in cheers. The players seemed a bit confused at first until they realized what the cheering was all about. Meanwhile, local tennis players and fans say Mboko's win is great for the growth of Canadian tennis.
She's the real deal. I think she's going to be a top player in years to come.
She's a great role model for all young Canadian tennis players out there.
I think it means a lot to Canadian tennis.
It was really great seeing her win and seeing the crowd just cheer her on.
Well, I think it was great for Canadian tennis and great for women's tennis and great for juniors. There's a lot of great thing to happen. She's a great role model.
Mboko will take a bit of a break as she prepares for the U.S. Open at the end of the month. And part of that break will be to rest up a sore wrist she was experiencing during the Montreal tournament. Also, she won $750,000 yesterday for that victory, and she becomes the highest-ranked Canadian woman tennis player. Reporting live, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
Sounds good. Thanks, John.
She's amazing.
At the Côte de Liesse Tennis Club, players as young as 10, like Brooklyn Desjardins, are feeling the Mboko effect.
That's why it was so inspirational to me, because she's also from Canada, and so it's really cool.
Playing since she was 3 years old, Eva Paquette sent Vicky Mboko a bracelet that she wore during practice.
I admire her a lot because she never gives up and she's always concentrated in her game.
Very charismatic. She's a wonderful tennis player.
The former head of Tennis Canada and coach for high-performance players, Sylvain Bruno, says Mboko is changing the sport.
I think she's going to have a wonderful effect in tennis in this country. Participation, competition, just with the fans. I mean, I'm sure ratings on TV were incredible for her matches. We need ambassadors like Victoria Mboko.
Former professional tennis player and director of the high-performance program at the Côte de Liesse Club, Simon Larose coached Mboko 3 years ago.
She's very kind to the young generation too, so yeah, she's going to be a good role model for a lot of young girls here.
A role model already being emulated on these courts.
Yeah, we get more kids playing, and that's what we want. I mean, more kids playing tennis, then more chances of us having other champions like her.
Future champions that are honing their skills. And does that give you more energy to come to tennis lessons?
Definitely. She inspires me a lot.
She's amazing. Yeah, she's the next Serena Williams.
Christine Long, CTV News.
Oh my gosh, I would love that.
Nadine Robitaille loves using the NCC River House for getting in her laps. But news that there could soon be a floating spa added, that's something she's warming up to.
I live close by, and discovering this year has been fantastic, and having something else like that in this neighborhood would be amazing.
The National Capital Commission is hoping to build a floating sauna as part of the River House amenities. The proposal says the barge holding the spa would go here, just east of the designated free swimming area.
So it's docked on the water?
One of the inspirations the NCC features is Montreal's Boda Boda, which is a spa that's docked on the St. Lawrence River.
That would be very cool, and then it's a much shorter drive.
It's put out a call for companies to submit a proposal to design, build, and/or operate it.
Well, this area is known as a
a summer escape, the sauna would open in the winter as well. The NCC says that it would operate 7 days a week year-round, opening later this year, December 31st. Once in operation, it could hold up to a maximum of 25 people and include a hot tub, an indoor or outdoor shower, as well as a cold plunge in the winter.
If that does that, gets more people to enjoy waterside activities, as long as it doesn't in any way impinge on this beautiful spot here, I don't see why not.
It's part of the NCC's effort to create more waterfront access, including a new swimming dock at Dow's Lake. And while a floating sauna is still only a possibility, this cyclist thinks the idea is a hot one.
It would be after bicycling, just to relax for a bit. It would give me an opportunity to use the trail more, and then I would go back home all relax, back to reality.
The plan is certainly in the early stages. While those who want to put forward a proposal have until August 21st, the NCC does note that any approvals also have to go through the federal government. It says that there are no guarantees it will be approved, but are hoping for an opening by the end of the year. Stefan?
CTV's Kimberly Johnson reporting live for us tonight. Thank you, Kimberly.
This isn't your average roadside library. Instead of flipping through pages, kids here flip open the door and swap toy cars.
So we've created a little community library, but instead of books, we're using Hot Wheels and Matchbox die-cast cars. So it allows kind of our kids to both get into the habit of sharing.
This father-son duo built it from scratch over a few weekends and one long day of painting. But it didn't take long for the wheels to start turning.
We saw this online, and my wife and my son kind of drew an interest to it. Our son loves Hot Wheels, he loves cars, so we thought, why not?
The rule is simple. Take one, leave one, which isn't always easy for a 4-year-old who's quite a collector himself.
It's a little tough when, 5 new cars show up the same day, and he really wants all 5, so it becomes a little bit of a battle. He understands that, other kids get to play with these too, and I think that helps.
This one glows in the dark.
Since setting it up, the little car library has become a neighborhood hit. Dozens make pit stops to swap and donate cars.
So we see everything from, infants, little kids, and their parents, up to, tradesmen coming by with their trucks and vans and stopping by and dropping off vehicles for us.
Which for Arthur is a lot of fun and part of a daily ritual he looks forward to.
He loves to see the new cars. I mean, he loves his own vehicles, but you get new cars every day. You get to see what's there, and he gets to pick usually 1 or 2 a day to take out and replace with his own.
The father-son duo may have started with just 24 of Arthur's personal cars, but now this little box is bustling with community connection and imagination. One of the few places in the city where traffic isn't a problem. Hafsa Arif, CTV News, Cole Harbour.
No pets allowed on the buses or in the shelters. No pets will be allowed on the transportation and not allowed at the hotel. Wildfire evacuees have not been permitted to bring pets with them to hotels and were left with few options. That's where volunteers like Beauval local James Dennett come in.
95% of all our work right now is watering and feeding the dogs in the community. They're safer in the community instead of taking them out. We had run into a bunch of issues with the SPSA policies regarding the dogs being taken out to certain hotels for the evacuations.
Volunteers have been collecting trucks full of donated dog food and driving it to northern communities. Dennett makes sure the food reaches the dogs.
I gave out 1 truck to Kennel Lake, 1 to Johns Bay, and these are full trucks. And I got 3.5 at Patchnack and Beauval. Of course, we went through probably about 2 over here as well.
Pretty in Pink is one of the dog rescues bringing food donations north.
Right now we're running low, so it's been a busy summer and people have been sending up as much as they can, but with the dog populations in certain communities, lots of food is needed. So
Rodwin has been bringing dog food up north for years, but says he's never seen anything of this scale. In Beauval and the surrounding communities, volunteers have managed to keep hundreds of dogs fed this summer. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
She's a regular at the Crossroads Market, and Zia Lee carries a camera many days instead of a shopping bag. She grew up in China, where markets were part of everyday life for her and her parents.
The Crossroads Market also remind me those experiences and those feelings in my hometown, actually. And also, I moved to the Calgary for 10 years, and I think here is the place where I can find the feeling of being at home and the belonging. Yeah.
Lee is developing her pictures using the cyanotype method on glass that creates a transparent blue image. She's framed them so they look like drawers that are holding precious memories. When light passes through the glass, it creates shadows.
And especially the shadow of the this glass panel, they are like a very blur, but it still can have some images. So it's like a visualization, presentation of the memories.
Lee's an artist in residence at the Alberta Society of Artists on the second floor of the market.
Usually, you know, when we have an artist come in, their work is done. So and for me too, it's been really interesting to see the work as it progresses and get to know a little bit more about the process through actually seeing it versus just hearing about it.
Crossroads moved to its current location in 1999, and what used to be a slaughterhouse has turned into a vibrant market. Nicola Shawn says it's intertwined with the Calgary arts community, and she's excited it's the focus of an exhibit at the gallery.
If someone is intrigued with our history and what we've done and where we've been and where we are planning on going, certainly, and they want to do it from an artist's perspective, we're in. We're like, game on, bring it on.
Lee says rather than capturing people in her images, she's focused on some of the spaces that visitors might not always see. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
This is what the old Groves Memorial Community Hospital looked like before it was demolished last year. Turns out hidden within the walls of one of the hospital wings was a time capsule.
Yeah, so the capsule was laid there, I guess, in 54, 55 when they were building the hospital at that time.
70 years later, to help uncover what's inside, the current chief of staff at the new Groves Memorial.
Oh, wow. The voters list.
And John Stickney, whose career at the old site spans 4 decades.
Still working part-time.
Newspapers from 1954 and 1955 were inside, along with pamphlets and a union book. One of Stickney's favorite findings, the blueprints to the old building, bringing back memories of his years starting as a family physician.
We walked those halls and we took care of babies and sick children.
The blueprint bringing back personal memories too.
I was just looking at the obstetrical area, which is where my children were born in that particular room, and one of my grandchildren.
While staff say the modern building was much needed, it's good to reminisce.
I think the square footage of the building is probably close to double the old square footage, but that's simply because the modern needs and space is bigger and different than it was back then.
Many history buffs came for the unveiling, excited to see the capsule contents.
No, it's great to see what was in it and how well things didn't mold, or it was well preserved.
The most unique find, a handwritten letter from a counselor at the time, describing what life is like in the 1950s.
That they were in peace and security, and they hoped that we were as well, and that we'd remembered things that mattered and things that were important. That they valued the town and the growth and the people that made the town great.
The note ending with a prediction from its writer saying, "We're traveling faster than the speed of sound, but you're probably traveling in space."
They were going into space in the late 50s and the 60s for the Apollo missions, right? And then landing on the moon in 69, and then of course the space shuttle through the 80s and the 90s and 2000s until that finished, and now we're into commercial space travel.
The hospital's current staff say they will be putting together a new time capsule for the next generation of healthcare providers to uncover one day. The chief of staff did note wherever they decide to put the next time capsule, they will try to do it in a way that it is clear that it is there, because they almost didn't see this time capsule as it was hidden and a big surprise to find. Krista.
Amazing, and a good idea to let people know it's there in the future. CTV's Heather Senerin reporting.
Some baseball players love showing off their swagger with their swings, their bling, and who sings. Players with the Edmonton Riverhawks have some superstitions of their own. Reese Devlin likes to feel the hype when he enters the game.
I'm really high energy, so I wanted something with a lot of pace.
When he's walking to the batter's box or pitching mound, the ball diamond blares Chip by the real Mackenzies.
We pitch off adrenaline, and that's one of the ones where I hear that song, especially here in front of a couple thousand fans. My adrenaline starts to get going, and it helps me throw.
Spencer Mueller also likes the beat of the drums and strum of the guitar when he's playing. He's chosen Spirit in the Sky by Norman Greenbaum, a song that shows his religious background.
In front of all these people, it's cool to be able to illustrate myself on the mound and also be able to represent why I'm here and who I'm here for.
Both players love that in this team sport, it's a way they can show off their individuality.
So I live my life by.
It reflects how they play.
And if their play begins to slump, a new walkout song could change the tune of their season. Evan Kenny, CTV News, Edmonton.
They're called contrails, short for condensation trails, visible in the sky. And according to scientists, these thin white trails impact the environment.
Global aviation is a significant source of climate change impact, and a portion of that is actually not direct CO2 emissions, but the secondary effects that come from contrails.
This is where the flight actually is, that red dot.
In an effort to mitigate the impact of contrails, a team of researchers from Western, along with the Global Meteor Network, is working with an experienced pilot to change the flying altitude of planes by using ground-based cameras to observe aircraft.
A small percentage of flights, about 15%, would need to make little corrections just in a height that don't cost much to eliminate contrails entirely. The major problem is that there's no data to inform the models and to send the airplanes in the right direction, and we're changing that with our project.
The project is now financially backed by Google and Breakthrough Energy.
There was a need for model verification, validation, and it occurred to me that we could use the Global Meteor Network to validate the contrail models.
Contrails can induce warming of the Earth.
Vita says existing satellite systems, on average, detect contrails 30 minutes after formation, limiting their utility for actionable mitigation.
The goal is that in the last couple of years there was a big growth of the network with thousands of cameras around the world, and now we want to expand our capabilities. So we have the data, and we want to just do something for the world and the general public and for science with the data set that we have.
Rita Ismail, CTV News.
This house is one of the remaining pieces of Fort Capel's historic past, a link to the glory days of the Hudson's Bay Company. The town's Heritage Museum is looking to purchase and preserve the 140-year-old building, but need the public's help.
We believe that this house is of provincial and national importance. Anybody that has a sense of history, we're asking them to help contribute.
Located on the property next to the museum stands the house once owned by Archie McDonald, who was once the chief factor for HBC. The house has changed hands many times over the years, but much of its architecture has remained the same, including the brick used for the outside and the wooden staircase up to the second floor. It's a landmark the museum says is too good to pass up.
This is a really important part of our Canadian history, and we can see it being a really good asset for our town, bringing tourism in, helping our businesses.
The museum has launched a campaign to raise $500,000, which will go towards not only purchasing the land and home, but to establish a foundation for future maintenance without the use of public funding.
It is absolutely a stunning, one-of-a-kind home, and it would be absolutely treasured by the community of Fort Capel with a park-like setting, and it would be wonderful for it to be maintained by the museum.
The museum has already raised $50,000 and hope to meet their goal through private and corporate donations. In the future, the land and building will be used for a wide range of events, including concerts and parties. Mick Favel, CTV News, Fort Capel.
David Piccini says the $13 million investment in training in Northern Ontario is about building a world-class workforce that can face any challenge.
We've seen with President Trump's tariffs how one leader can
destabilize things. And so for us, we need to be self-sufficient. That's what we're doing. To do it, you need to have a well-trained workforce to power tomorrow, to unlock those critical minerals, support the mines, and that's what we're doing, is training them for better jobs with bigger paychecks.
The Boilermakers Local 128 received over $5 million to help with the build of a state-of-the-art training facility in Sudbury.
The announcement from Minister Braccini is outstanding for several reasons. We are literally busting at the seams at our existing facility that we've been at in Sudbury for 30 years now. We're going to double our capacity in welding. We're going to multiply our training that we can do within the facility year-round.
4 other organizations in Northern Ontario received the balance of the funding to deliver free training in sectors affected by U.S. tariffs and policies.
I mean, it's all about better training for better jobs with bigger paychecks. That's what we're on a mission to do. We want Canada, Ontario to be the economic engine, a leader on a global stage. To do it, you got to have those training opportunities.
The minister says a $13 million investment through the Skills Development Funding Training and Capital Streams will help over 1,000 workers in Northern Ontario prepare for in-demand jobs in boilermaking, welding, mining, and ironworking sectors. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
Theatre by the Bay is getting ready to celebrate a major milestone, 25 years of entertaining and inspiring audiences here in Barrie. To mark the occasion, the company gave us a preview of its upcoming season, and the curtain is already rising on some exciting productions. Among them, Down Broadway Lane, Daughter of the Country, and Crime After Crime.
It's a lot of interactive, the Campy Camp Campfire Show. They pull the kids on stage and we build a campfire together and fire marshal, don't worry about that, it's fine, it's not real, but a lot of fun engaging with the kids, and I think that's, and the parents, it's something that everybody can enjoy and get into.
All performances will take place at the 5 Points Theatre in downtown Barrie.
On any given day, you'll find 4-year-old Amelia walking with just one lizard.
She's not a real lizard, she's just a toy lizard.
A toy lizard named Lizzie, whose story begins with a very real dog named Sbury,
who was my wife's dog from the time she was a puppy.
And when Kyler Nurmsu's wife got pregnant, they couldn't wait to introduce Sbury to their first baby.
I met real Sbury in my mommy's tummy.
Unfortunately, they had to put real Sbury down less than 2 months before Amelia was born.
That was really devastating to not have the two of them meet.
So Kyler found a chocolate lab stuffy that his wife brought to the hospital so Sbury could be there in spirit when they welcomed Amelia into the world.
Eventually, Amelia kind of claimed that stuffed animal as her own and wanted to take it for walks.
Whenever her dad would take their remaining dog, Baloo, for walks, Amelia would do the same with their stuffed animal, Sbury.
Which I think is especially meaningful for my wife, but certainly for both of us.
Despite how caring Amelia was with that toy dog, the girl considered it her parents' pet. So when Kyler and his wife happened upon a store that was selling a rubber lizard on a leash,
we're like, that is going to be perfect for Amelia to take for walks.
They were right. Amelia and Lizzie have been going for daily walks ever since.
Makes me feel happy and Lizzie feel happy.
While Kyler and Baloo's goal is simply exercise, Amelia and Lizzie are also pursuing creative escapades.
This is Lizzie's skateboard.
When Lizzie isn't racing around on skateboards constructed from leaves, the lizard is bravely leaping off giant cliffs, so Amelia can find the courage to do the same before magically finishing all the 4-year-old's chores.
Brush my teeth for me. I'll get to clear my room. Yeah, everything.
Everything but walk Sbury, because this is a routine Amelia still relishes. A very real dog's legacy of love, passed down from parent to child to lizard to everyone, Amelia hopes, who passes by.
Makes people feel really happy, happy, happy.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Esquimalt.